What up, Chad? Hope you guys are having a fan-freaking-tastic Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. Sorry to everyone yesterday with the, what's this thing? A little mishap with the scheduling. But we is here today. It's going to be quite sick. Reacting to a little video I saw the other day that I really liked. Because I have not the same sort of aspect to trading right now, but a somewhat similar sort of vibe about it. So let me know if the audio is good. Very soft ed, as in my speaking. How's that? Is that better? Can you hear me? Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's your homeboy Smoke coming to pull one through. Audio is low still. There's a little bit of a delay, so like as I do something, y'all only realize that speaking. Perfect. Yes, win. Okay, just to repeat what I was saying. This guy has a very similar sort of vibe about him in terms of how he views the markets. Similar, not the same, but similar. So I thought it might be an interesting watch party for us to go through. Still on one monitor right now, just missing a little DV to HDMI cable for my second monitor, so that should be up and running on Friday. So you have to bear with me today. But let's get into it. Just give me a second to. Okay, I'm gonna choke the music. Okay, and we're gonna watch this bad boy. Give me 1 sec to swap screens here. And 3, 2, 1.
So one thing I get criticized for the most is that I don't do top-down analysis like everyone else does. So starting from the daily, then check the 4-hour, then the 15-minute, then the 5, then the 1 for entry, that stuff. I don't do this, but for me, the reason why is just because I want to keep things simple. I kind of find it unnecessary. It adds some complications I just don't need. So with the strategy I'm about to show you, I'm going to show you exactly how I trade just one time frame, one session, and pretty much one pair the entire time. And that's all I really need. So how did I come to this conclusion? Throughout my experience in trading, I kind of started to realize that most of the time, my biggest problem was take profit. Not even the trade, not the setup, not the strategy, not even breaking rules, not psychology. It's more my trade will go how I want it to most of the time, but it doesn't always hit TP, or I don't leave when I should. That was the biggest problem of all. So it took me a while to crack down on this and find out exactly
Huzzah. Okay, let
what
me know
is
if the
going
audio is a
wrong
little bit
and
better
the
there.
sweet spot of when to kind of leave a trade that makes the most sense. And this is generally because you get taught to go for 1 to 3 minimum, otherwise there's almost no way you're going to be profitable. You hear this all the time, and many of us believe this when we are learning. I learned from YouTube and just consuming a ton of videos, so this is what you kind of hear over time. So trying to go for 1 to 3 every time is kind of like, all right, cool, you make 1%, you make 2%, but you still don't close. Some people say take partials, but that's just more stuff that you have to do. And when you take partials, you need to understand that your overall profit isn't going to be the same because you took off maybe half at 1 to 1, so the remaining half isn't total. But when you lose the whole percentage. So overall, over many trades, you might not even end up profitable anyway because you're not really making as much as you should. Anyway, that's a whole different topic for another day. But overall, it's just the idea that, okay, my trade went how it should, but I'm not always closing consistently.
Yeah, so Chad, so just to touch on what he's saying right there. So I find I've had a very similar sort of outlook on how I view, there are certain strategies where if you're taking partials and then letting the rest run so that you secure some profit, but you're not taking full TPs, I've found, like, for me, it doesn't sit well with me. Like, taking partials, unless I'm really swinging a trade, I'll maybe do that. But if I'm going for a 50 pip move, a 60 pip move on indices, or with the 62.5 pip move, I go in gold. Taking partials almost like stops the trade's momentum early, especially if you're only going for like 1:1, 1:2 R trades. taking partials actually dramatically changes what your average risk to reward actually is. So you take a 2R trade and turn it into a 1.5, 1.25R trade. And if you just left it and let it go to 2R, that would have had a dramatically different result in your P&L, a dramatically different result in what your overall risk on the table is versus your reward. So I find like what he's saying here is sort of like, it goes with where my mentality is a little bit.
Instantly, there's always too much decisions to make. I have to look at, okay, cool, can I hold longer? Just too many decisions, right? Too many decisions that I needed to cut down on. So that's when I simply decided to cut everything down, to simplifying it very much to where now I trade like a robot. One session, pretty much London session is what I trade most of the time. If I'm trading New York, then that's just kind of for the sake of it on a different account. So primarily, I trade one session, one pair, and one time frame. That's all I really need to just go about this life forever. If I really needed to just pick one of each, I can and be perfectly fine. So now I'm going to show you a series of trades. Let's say we're going to just
so on that, similarly, like I'm a big proponent of really honing down when you trade and why you trade. I haven't honed it down to just one session. I do still trade London and New York, not Asia at all. But I've I was telling Chris the other day, like the number of pairs I was looking at in the beginning versus the number of pairs I look at now. I was looking at AUD USD, Euro USD, Pound dollar. I was looking at Swiss. I was looking at the francs. I was looking at the New Zealand dollar. Like anything that could move, I wanted to look at it and try and figure it out. Now I've basically boiled it down to I look at NAS, I look at US30, I look at gold. Those are the only three pairs I look at. The strategies I'm trading them on is basically there's two main strats I'm looking at. The third strat is a variation of the second one. So two strats with two different entries on the one strat. And it's a much more simplified version. And I find now that I've gone to this simplified version of trading, I'm a lot more profitable than I was where I was trying to catch as many trades as possible. So this is something to be simplifying your strategy, simplifying, depending on the strategy, what session you're trading in, and what pair you're trading it on. Like we have this mentality that multiple different types of trades, multiple different sessions, multiple different pairs is going to make us more money. But like, no offense, you're not smart enough to be able to keep track of all those variables every day. You're going to mess up the formula at some point, and messing up the formula is going to lose you money.
Go through a week's worth of trade and show you exactly how I trade in such a way that I don't need to think much, I don't need to process much, I just see and I do, right? Literally, it's like an input and an output situation, not much I need to think about, and that is it. In fact, I'll show you an exact trade that I took today, a few minutes ago. We'll start off with that one first. So this was a very simple trade I was looking at. This literally happened a few minutes ago, and I saw this trade whilst actually recording a video prior, right? It's so simple that I saw a trade, boom, all the switches went off, and I said I'm taking a trade because it just fit everything I needed to. Nice and simple, didn't need to over-analyze anything, and that's always the point I'm making. But I have a demand zone here. I trade supply and demand for those who don't know. This is a demand zone right here. I wanted the fair value gap to be filled. Simple. If you don't know what any of these terms mean, I've made several videos. Just go through the channel. I literally made a video on fair value gap.
Okay, this is where me and him deviate quite a bit. Tried the whole supply and demand, whole SMC, fair value gaps, so inefficiencies in price. It worked. It worked for a time, but when it stopped working, holy shit, did it stop working. So, don't agree with his training methodology, but if it's making him money, more power to him.
Gaps not too long ago. So watch that just so you know you have a full in-depth video that's going to explain these things, so this video isn't too long. This setup right here now, simple. It hit the zone, boom, right there. Now all I was looking for is a simple process. Right here we have broken highs, we've broken another high, and price simply came all the way back down to tap the zone. That's number one. Number two, where are the danger zones? What can cause my trade to not go how it should? And I can clearly see right here that there is a supply zone right here that can cause an issue. It's that simple. This is process process number one. Think of like a computer. That's how my brain is kind of going through this right now. This is gonna be the problem. All right, cool. Where is gonna be my entry? My entry right now, I am looking for a break of candle. So I entered this trade right here. I just put my stop loss right below, play it super safe right there, and then I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to just go for a simple one-to-one because right now gold is super high, and that's just the case. And that's just what I kind of go for most of the time, especially when I'm trading on the 1 minute. This is the 1 minute time frame. It's that simple. I didn't need to kind of analyze anything else. It was just, all right, boom, I see this trade, I'm entering, I'm going for a one-to-one, and I left it and carried on recording the video.
Man is brave AF trading gold on the 1 minute. This man is very brave.
That was recording anyway. So on this trade right here, you can see what happens. Price came all the way back down. Good thing I had my stop loss below. This is why I wasn't really worrying about too much. I didn't even need to look at this too much. And you can see eventually price decided to do his thing. Boom, boom. 2 candles was all we needed to go from negative profit to straight to TP. And what's interesting is how my exit was so perfect, because I have back tested this long enough to know most of the time this is going to be the case. You can literally see we got taken out at 1 hour, boom, and eventually the rest was history, bro. It just started to melt after that. Now what I'm getting at is this was a very simple trade. Exit was super simple. I didn't need to look at the 3 minute and then the 5 minute and then the 15, because by the time I was doing all of that, I would have missed the trade. Now this is just one trade example, but I'm going to show you how my second trade is going to look almost identical to this one, and then the next, and then the next one. I'm just going to go through another trade, right? This is Thursday right now. This is literally a trade that I took today. I'm going to show you the previous trade. Now you can see another trade right here. This is still Thursday. This was the previous trade I took today on gold. Same thing. We have a break right here. We had a push. We had another push. Price came all the way back down to tap into the zone. The exact same thing like the last one. And I'm very transparent, so I'll show you how exactly this trade went, exactly what I did at the same time. Same thing, stop loss right here, entry was right here, and I thought to myself, what could be the issue that can stop this trade from winning? We have another supply right here that price could interact with and then cause problems. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to leave pretty much at 1-to-1 within this zone right here. My stop loss was literally right there, so 1-to-1 roughly here, right? Boom. That's what I'm looking for. Same process. Very, very simple. On this trade now, you can see what happens. Boom, 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 boom. So you can see right here that we got stopped out. That's fair. No issues at all. But you can see what happens afterwards. Eventually, price goes exactly to my TP. Literally precisely, because I knew this is where the danger zone is going to be. So I needed to just take my TP up there and leave. After that, right? Boom, 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 boom. Price eventually.
And this is exactly why supply and demand didn't work for me. This is a typical example of the trades I would take. It will be like, overall, your direction and your TP would be correct. Stop loss size prediction was always just like, sometimes it would wick you out like this, where you were just wicked out and you went in your direction. Sometimes it would wick me out by like 5 pips, 10 pips, 15 pips sometimes, and still head in the right direction. So you like, I feel like with SMC, getting direction was really good, but the overall getting entries with it was tricky AF.
Melted. This is the second trade, but so far anyway, right, we're 1 for 1. I'm going to show you a few more trades and we're just going to go through it so you kind of get an idea of how I trade. So now this is the day before. This is another trade, right? This is just us just going through several trades literally within the space of a week. This is also the 1 minute, so we're going to find many setups. But day before, you can see the exact same thing. We broke this low, price came back to tap into the zone, and then my entry was going to be here, stop loss right here, and then guess what? The same thing again. What's going to be the issue? This is kind of just what my mind goes through. If there isn't a demand zone in this case, I'll show you what else I would think about, but for now, this is it. This is going to be an issue. Can I leave within this zone? I'm not going to get a 1 hour if I leave within this box, so it's kind of no point. So in this case, it's slightly more risky, but just for the sake of making a 1-to-1 at least, right? That's just all this is about. So right here, this is where my TP is basically roughly down here actually, because there's sort of liquidity down here. This was where I left that on this trade. Boom, 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 boom. TP hit, nice and sweet. Eventually, yes, you'll be thinking to yourself, I wish I held all the way down here or something, right? Many of us think about this every single time, but guess what? If I did it for this trade, then why didn't I do it for the other trade? I would have done that for the first trade I showed you guys, and that would have lost. And I back tested this and forward tested this long enough to just know how this works on the 1 minute. Yes, in this case, it went straight.
Yeah, he is right. He's right in that regard. There is that whole temptation to be like, oh, if I had held for X, Y, Z reasons. But for every bang out trade that you do miss, you're probably going to save yourself from losing profits on a lot of trades that end up reversing in direction. So it can be frustrating at times, but you're never going to catch every run that is in the market. There are going to be some runs that you might be lucky enough to be a part of. There are going to be a lot of runs that you're only going to catch a small portion of it. Be thankful you caught a run at all, because 99% of people lose money in the market every single day. So if you caught a winning trade, take the win. Don't even be thinking about like, oh, it could have been so much bigger if I had done X, Y, and Z. And juice, yeah, there's way too much. Funny enough, SMC like almost markets itself as being like mechanical. Like a lot of the SMC guys that I watched, there was always like, oh, this is a mechanical strat. I do this when I do blah, 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 blah. But I found in practice, it's not really that true. Like which zones you consider the most valid, the ones that, how big you want your stop loss to be, how much past the low or past the high you want to do in case there's a liquidity grab. Like I find those little discretionary things got in the way of like you could never perfectly predict where to enter from, how to enter. Do you want to wait for a change of character in the lower time frame? Do you want to just risk enter on the higher time frame you're in? It was just way too discretionary. I liked it in the beginning, but I couldn't make it work long term.
To 1 to 3. In another case, what could possibly happen is it would go down, stop you at first, and then carry on. It doesn't always go as smooth as this is, but this is just another example of how it pretty much works, on how I keep it very simple. Like you can wake me up in the middle of the night, one eye open, one eye closed, and I can just see it set up and take it like this, because I've kept it very, very simple. Simplicity is key. Trading does not have to be complicated so you sound smart, so you sound like someone that just knows the market. It doesn't have to be. I don't know why that's the case. Keep trading simple, and then it's gonna make your life a lot easier. So right now, overall, that trade I left at 1 to 1.
But yeah, he's 100% right in that regard. I find my simplest strats have been the most profitable. Like for instance, the turtle wave strat is probably the simplest strat I have right now that I've done the most concisive testing on. It's so simple, it's almost stupid. Like honestly, it's almost it sounds dumb, and I gave it a nice little whimsical name too, to like further lean into that. But I think that in terms of the length of time, because I've traded that the longest currently, it is doing an absolute banger on its own. I'm experimenting right now with the range break on NAS, also a relatively very simple strat. I think that one's going to quickly become my favorite strat. I'm forward testing it now with actual capital on the line. So I only started Monday, so we'll see how that goes. But I again, super simple strat, and I think that's going to be the workhorse of my arsenal. So the simpler the strat, the more often than not, the better it ends up being.
One, I lost one, and I won another one. So far we're up 1%. This is still Wednesday, another setup again. We broke this low again. Price went back up to tap into the zone. I entered to the BOC. Stop loss was right here on this trade. And then you can see in this case again, we just happen to have another demand zone. So I don't want to fight the demand zone, and I'm not.
See, that's another thing I don't like about SMC. The fact that, oh, you have a supply zone up here, but this can also be seen as a demand zone down here. So like, which one are you waiting for and why? Because like obviously this isn't a course on his strat or how his strat's meant to work, so he's not going to go super in depth. But like this, like I would look at this and be like, this broke a low, reversed, and then broke the high. So to me, I'm like, okay, no, this is just, granted, I think he trades in the 1 minute, so it's a lot more volatile. But you would be valid considering this as a what's the thing called, a reversal. So it might be worth your while to actually ignore the supply zone up here and target a demand zone down there. Because if the longs are going to hold steady and the bulls have fully taken over, this supply zone in theory will be disrespected, broken, and then it'll come back. So it was that's one of the issues I have with SMC. There's supply and demand zones everywhere, and they're going against each other all the freaking time.
not sure if there's going to be an example where the demand zone does actually cause a headache, but in this case I'm leaving roughly here anyway, because you know it's just the safest spot. Does price go there? I can't really remember. Yeah, so you know we got a winner. Eventually price started kind of playing around, and that was it for this trade. So far we're up 2% so far, just by taking every setup pretty much that fits my rules, and so far we're up 2. We're going to go back to the next trade now. This is another setup. You can see that everything's already marked up because I took these trades, right? These are the trades that I literally took. This is Wednesday again, price entered and my entry was right there. In this case, there is no supply zone that is going to affect this trade, so I just left at the highest point to where price went to prior. That's it. Just because, why not keep it simple? Yes, it's nice to make a 1 to 65 RR like everyone wants to, but price went here previously and then retraced. So to me, this is the highest point that price has been to, that it is likely that price will go there again because it's been there before. It's just likely, unless price is done and doesn't want to push up no more, that's when it probably wouldn't. But price has been here before, so I'll go for the highest probability. I'm more of a probability guy in the sense that I want that probability to be high. I like win rate. RR is nice as well, but I like win rate because it helps my psychology. So you also have to establish, are you that guy that likes win rate, or are you the guy that likes winning most of the time? Because some of us want a 1 to 5 RR every time, but when you lose, your psychology goes out of the.
I feel like you said the same thing there. I think win rate and winning all the time are the same thing. Well, granted, like he might mean if your win rate is only 40%, but you get 1 to 5 hours, then your win rate's technically low, but your P&L is still going to be on the up. So yeah, I find for me, I need the feeling of I need okay. To be fair, I need one of two things, not necessarily both, but one has to be true. I need either to have the feeling of I've won the last couple trades I've taken, and like overall I'm up in terms of just pure losses and wins, or my P&L is heavy in the positives. So if I can handle losing 3, 4, 5 trades in a row, if I'm like, I'm still up on the account, it's fine. And I can handle, and everyone can handle winning a bunch of trades all in a row. It's when it's, no, I've lost a couple trades in a row and my P&L's down, oh, then we have a problem. Then we have a problem. And how hard was it to unlearn SMC? Funny enough, surprisingly, not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. To the point now, if you asked me, like if you gave me an empty chart and like asked me like do a full SMC breakdown on this chart, I might actually struggle a little bit. I think because SMC was so complicated in the first place, I never truly wrapped my head around it. So tossing it out my brain and just keeping things simple wasn't all that difficult. Should have been the first sign that I should have chalked it long ago. But yeah, what does demand zones and supply zones you use depends on the amount of coffee you drank that morning. That's 100% true, guy. That is 100% true. And it's the whole, you need to look at what's the weekly doing, then what's the daily doing, then what's the 4-hour doing, then what's the 15-minute doing, and then you're going to enter in the 50-minute and the 5-minute, and then we're bearish on the 4-hour, but we're bullish on the daily. It was a lot, guy. It was a lot.
Window and you start doing crazy things, so maybe that's not for you. You need to have a strategy that wins a bit more. Anyway, without turning this into a run, this is pretty much another trade. You can see my TP was there, and this even went way higher. Overall, could have made way more in this trade. That's fine, but overall, now we're up, what, 3%? And this is just taking my setups that I see in just 2 days. We're up 3. That's it, just by taking them. So overall, you can see the win rate is a lot higher, which is fine by me. So it's really that simple. I literally trade like, I said like an idiot, because anyone can do this, right? It looks very simple. Of course, you might not understand the ins and outs and all that stuff. So if that is the case, then feel free to join the mentorship group. I can teach you there. I can show you exactly how it works. But overall, this is kind of trading like an idiot. Like, I can wake up at any time. I can be anywhere across the world. I can see my setup in 1 minute. Boom, boom, boom. I'm in and out. You feel me? Like, this is how trading should be. Very, very simple. But this is basically it. I don't really need to go through too much. I just want to.
Okay, that's basically the video. I feel like that last little bit was maybe just a touch disingenuous, because even though his strategy might be simple, it does take a lot of higher level knowledge to execute a simple strategy correctly. So a little bit of marketing jargon there, but he provides some good nuggets in there, so I'll let him have it. So yeah, that was the video I wanted to share with you guys today. Let me know if that was cool, if you enjoyed that. Let me know if you guys prefer these little react videos live, the way we're doing it now, or what I did yesterday, where I pre-recorded it I think the editing is a little bit better on that one, although it had some camera issues. But let me know which format is better. At least in this format, we get to have a little bit of a conversation about it, which is quite cool. But yeah, let me know which one suits you guys better. And we are going to be doing the live back testing session tomorrow. I'm going to show you guys the trades I've taken live on the range break on NAS. So I've taken a few of those live. Caught a nice win yesterday. Chuffed. And I'm going to see, like, I've collected more data on past little thingies there. So we'll be able to just look at what the hit rate looks like it is for the last month and a bit's worth of data and the forward testing. And we'll be able to compare. I have not. What I will probably do during that live is, is look at what ratios to target. So like I've been going for a 1.5 RR so far. We'll compare and see if we do 2R or 3R or anything more, how does that affect hit rate? Is it worth going for those extended targets, or do we want to keep it on the shorter targets? Live ones are better. I do like the lives. Are you off, Ed? You owe us a few hours. Well, what you want me to do? What you want me to do? I have a little bit of time. I haven't prepared anything else, so what do you want me to do? We can't just sit here and talk shit for a while, but I'm not sure how entertaining that is overall. Also, I'm in the second. This isn't a studio yet. We're going to convert it into a studio, but like the wall is plywood and it's missing a top half, so like the next office can hear everything I'm saying. So that might be a little bit awkward for them. But yeah, I promise tomorrow's back testing session, we're going to go fully in depth, probably do like an hour and a half, full little stint together. It'll be fun. It'll be a whole thing, I swear. Make up for me. Not, I didn't forget. I just, time got away with me. And by the time I realized it was time for me to go on, it was just like, there's too much happening at once. So, just so Miles's story. Actually, we can look at that together. We can look at that together. If you guys haven't seen that yet, let me wait. I'm gonna set that up in a second. Yeah. Let me do this here. That was fun. And it was 100% staged. He did not catch me in real time. I was not doing what it appeared to look like I was doing. Yes, that's my story, and I am sticking to it. Let me just log into Instagram here quick. I'm gonna be very keen when my second screen is up and running. That is going to make this so much easier. Okay, give me one sec. Naughty boy. I'm innocent. I'm being framed. He told me to do that. That was not my doing. Miles. Okay, there it is. Okay. Wait, let me share screen. View screen. There. Okay. Is the volume okay.
What's up, Ed?
Oh shit! Hey, hi, how you doing?
I think you got something under your foot.
My foot. Oh, what's this? 22 November. What's that mean? That's weird. I still don't know what 22 November means. I have no cooking clue what that's on about. So yeah, so you guys saw nothing at all. Can't be using office Wi-Fi for I don't know what you're talking about. I was just looking up cat videos. I was doing a thing. So you say tomorrow we're going to push for an hour and a half. Yeah, there's quite a lot of data I wanted us to go through, which will probably take like a good 15, 20 minutes. And then we'll do like an hour and a bit of actual like back testing. Reason being is I actually need to do, I want to do more back testing because I really want to compare RR. So it normally takes me like a solid hour to do just the back testing, and then we'll go through the previous data I've already back tested. So yeah, so I've blocked out like an hour and a half for it, so we'll be able to spend a good amount of time on that. Because I'm liking the strat. I think it's going to be good. I want to put some more serious money behind it, but before I'm comfortable doing that, I want to have like a solid data on it. So I'm for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a scientist, published in a academic journal. So that's the way my brain works. I like data, I like figures, I like numbers. So it's before I feel comfortable YOLOing something, I'm like, okay, there's a statistical 67.5% chance this is going to work, so I'm willing to risk capital on this. I can't degen with real money. Like I degen all the time, like any other trader, but it's always with like, nah, I'm gonna throw in $100 here or $500 or $1,000 on CPI and FPE. But like to pull actual serious capital, I'm gonna miss if I blow. I need data. I need to feel like, okay, I'm comfortable taking the risk. Think it must be November 23 for the boot camp. I don't think so, I don't think so. I think that the boot camp is a separate thing. Miles' thing is something else. I know his birthday. I think his birthday is the 24th or 22nd, one of the two. It's somewhere there, I think. I think it's 22nd. I think it's his birthday, but that isn't the thing he's talking about. So we're going to see. Are you in for New York today? I don't think so. I might be. I don't know. I know Keegs has something on this afternoon, but I don't know if it's after New York or before. But I might still pop in, say what's up. I will be in the office. I will be trading at that time. So if Keegan ain't on stream, I'll hop in and replace him. Otherwise, it'll be Chris and Keegs. Chris is back, as you guys saw in London, so it'll be a whole thing. His birthday is the 22nd, eh? So it's related to its birthday, but it's not for his birthday, if that makes sense. It's a whole thing. I don't know. They were talking about it, but I was busy with headphones on. I was watching something, so I didn't actually catch what it was, and I forgot to ask him afterwards. But yeah, whole thing. Alrighty, folks. I need to catch up on some stuff. Chris gave me quite a big assignment to get done, and yeah, I need to go do that. But this has been fun. Tomorrow, you and I, it's going to be a thing. We're going to look at cat videos together, or something of the sort. Yeah. If you know what I'm saying. Chad, actually, I am 1,000% certain. Okay, not 1,000%. I'm like 97.5% certain that people do Pornhub watch parties together. Because if I could come up with that idea, someone else has come up with it years ago already and implemented. I'm 100% certain that must be a thing. And if that is a thing, how wild is that? Like, how wild is that? Not on YouTube. Maybe on like what's that degen streaming platform? Is it Kick? Is Kick the one that's really degen? Or is it Rumble? It's one of those. One of those degen allows anything. I'm 1,000% certain that kind of thing must be on there. Which is kind of gay if you think about it. Unless the streamer's female and you're a guy. I don't know. I want to know the answer, but I don't know if I'm messed up enough in the head to actually go research it. Are we selling signals in the chat? Naughty. FCA coming at you. Sell Naz, buy US Tech. Actually, I actually want to sell. I actually want to sell Naz, but I don't know if I've gotten entry yet. The price action has been cack on everything today. Oh, indices and gold, it's been cack. Nah, still stuck in the Asia rage. All right, need to pay rent for my. Hey, guy, Daddy wants a new car. Daddy wants some new wheels. But Daddy can't afford to buy new wheels twice. You ever hear that rule? Like, if you can't afford to buy it twice, you can't afford it. I live too hard. So I can afford it once. I can't afford it twice. So working on it. Okay, I really gotta go. I got stuff to do. You guys have been absolutely freaking awesome. And I will check you, mana. When will I check you? Tomorrow. You, me, together. Peace and love, Chad. We'll see you guys real soon. Wait. How do I transition over here? Bye.